with that, we can maybe expect the unexpected here in Georgetown tonight as we are underway. Back for the Ravens. That will be returnable off to the left side. Gets a couple of blocks, and the Ravens will be in good field position.
Great field position, and now it's going to be up to their quarterback to go do something here. And like I said, I think this is going to be a battle of the defenses, and so let's see if the Ravens can get some offense going early.
Now, in a game like this, when you're sitting at 500 and you're really trying to get some momentum going, how important it is to have the veteran leadership out of Justin Moore here under center for the Ravens, you think?
I mean, I think that's crucial. And we're going to see what they do on the first snap.
And that first handoff will go to Sample up the middle, and that's what you're going to see out of the Ravens a lot. They're good in a lot of run-heavy packages where they'll get 3 to 4 yards.
And like you said, Sample, I mean, coming off a massive performance last week, 4 touchdowns, you know, if you're the Ravens, you're trying to give that guy the ball, and you're hoping he gets going early.
I mean, I compared him last week to the kind of, you know, grinded-out running back as in the league like the Latavius Murrays. We saw it with the LeGarrette Blunts.
Yeah.
He's the big, heavy, you know, halfback.
And they're going to look.
This one goes to Reinecker up the middle. Reineker's more of the, you know, the speed mix.
Yeah, I mean here's the thing, though. He still scored the touchdown last week, gets a 2-point conversion. You know, these backs for the Ravens, I mean, they're coming off 2 great games. And if I'm the Ravens right now, I'm handing the ball to them, and I'm saying, hey, listen, Wildcats, you're going to have to stop us, and we're going to keep running until you show us that you can stop us.
I think that's a very fair plan out of this Ravens offense. But we'll see what they go with on this third down. They're going to call it a 3rd and 7, ball on the 38-yard line, where Moore will now go under center. And he's going to go toss to Sample. Sample's got some running room up the left side, and he's got enough room to get the first down.
I mean, that's what they're going to have to do. You know, Sample, he gets off the outside there, and he just, I mean, he runs with momentum. And, yeah, like I said, Ravens, you know, hand the ball off to the running backs, you know, see what they can do. And, you know, get the first down, and that's what you have to do. Start the momentum. You got to go out, not a 3 and out. You got to start out, get your first down, and then try to get this momentum rolling.
So 1st and 10 as we see the Delmar defensive front change it up a little bit. This time they go Reinecker handoff to the right. He finds room for about a 4-yard gain.
You know, that was great blocking there by the Ravens. Create that hole, let him go through it. A lot of patience there, waited for it to open up, and that's what you love to see if you're a coach for the Ravens.
And one thing to point out tonight, just for the viewers watching at home, there has been some clock issues throughout the day here in Georgetown. They've been working to get that resolved. So that is something that may factor into the game where players and the fans may not be very aware of the clock, but referees do have a plan for that, and we'll see how that works out. It looks like that was a false start on the play. That could have got ugly quick there for Moore and the Ravens.
Yeah, Wildcats are saying it's on Ravens, and we'll see what this is.
And they're going to call the false start, so basically knock off that Reinecker handoff, and they're going to be pushed back, but now it's going to be left with the 2nd and 11.
2nd and 11. Yeah, now you have to wonder what the Ravens are going to do. Are they going to try to get this passing game going? If I'm them, I say stick with the run. Pound it out.
Moore goes handoff inside to Sample. Sample will get the penalty yards back, and that will lead a much more manageable 3rd down and 6 here upcoming for the Ravens.
And I think they're probably going to keep the game plan simple. If I'm them right now, I hand it off to Sample again. And Sample, I mean, he's...
Do you lead him with running room like the last 3rd down play?
I mean, you hope. And so, yeah, we'll see here.
So Moore under center. This is the usual formation here for the Ravens. He goes halfback toss to the right to Reinecker, and the Delmar Wildcats come up with a big stop here at midfield, but not so fast. It looks like the Ravens offense is staying on the field.
I like this call. Be aggressive early. You know it's going to be a battle between the defenses. Try to show that your offense can get something going. It's a very manageable play, and the way they've been running this football, you have to think that, this is a great play.
Well, not just in this game, but over the past few games, they've been able to control the clock. So it looks like Coach Brad Ellingsworth puts faith, puts trust here on the senior quarterback, Justin Moore, as he goes handoff straight up the middle to Sample, and he's got so much room, and he leaps over a defender.
And that's the kind of play that you need early if you're Sussex Tech here. I mean, that was beautiful. Hurdles a person. That's not something you see in high school football every day.
No, and I'll tell you what, this Jaren Sample, he is quite an athlete here for the Ravens, and it is a much-needed rushing attack for them. Yeah,
and that's a great fourth down call by the Ravens. And now you have to just imagine that they're gonna continue to run this ball until Delmar says, hey, we can stop this run game.
And we're just a little over 4 minutes into the game here. A new fresh set of downs here for the Ravens. They go to Reinecker off the right side, and the Delmar Wildcats are beginning to sniff out this kind of run concept.
And that's what they needed. The Wildcats desperately need to shut them down here, force the Ravens to have a 3rd and long situation.
Because force them to pass.
Because the Ravens, they're showing it. If they get to 4th down and it's manageable, they're going to go for it. And that's what you don't want to see if you're the Wildcats.
So they're going to mark it at 2nd and 12 here with the ball on the 35-yard line for Sussex Tech. They're going to go sweep toss left with Sample, and when they give Sample some running room, there's a fumble in the play, but Reinecker able to come up with it.
Wow, it's Sample. He runs with so much power. He's running into guys, and he looks unstoppable at times. And, coming off that 4-touchdown performance, it's no wonder that they're handing the ball off to him, and you love that you have a second option to be able to have those other plays. Obviously, Reinecker lost last run. It seems like they're just going to rotate back and forth, though, and give those guys some rest, see what they can do when they get the ball.
And some of those Delmar Wildcat defenders up there, Bryce Johnson sniffing it out, Jacob Kirby all over the play, a 3rd and 4 here. As they go fumble on the snap, Moore will just grab it and fall to the ground.
Seemed like maybe some miscommunication there. You don't like that. Justin Moore, he's been doing his job, and that play, just poorly executed. We'll see what the Ravens do here.
And last week we saw a few of those moments out of the Ravens as well. They just struggled sometimes with the tempo, with the exchanges. There's a lot of motion in their offense, and there's a lot of things that can get complex. As now we go into the 4th and 11.
Let's see how they bounce back here.
They'll stay with the same formation. Moore will go under center. He's going to roll to his right. He's got a guy, but there's a flag on the play. Most likely was going to be a hold, but what a stop for the Delmar Wildcats.
Big stop for the Wildcats. Kind of surprised to see them go for the passing play for the first time this game. Obviously, Moore rolls out. Didn't have anybody downfield, had the penalty anyway. And now it's turn of possessions. We'll see what the Wildcats can do here on offense as we get to preview them for the first time this game. Patrick, what are you looking for here from this Wildcats offense?
Well, it's going to be interesting. Of course, the Wildcats have struggled to score points this year, and it will be very interesting to see what kind of offense they can get started with tonight. So the Wildcats also, they're going to go with a very similar formation. Looks like they have a bit of a stoppage here on the field. Refs trying to get the spot figured out and get everything set up. Seems like it's taking a little bit longer than usual.
And this is where Tech's going to get to preview and show the Wildcats just how good their defense can be. Like we said in the beginning of the show, 2 shutouts in the last 2 games. And this Tech defense looks hungry. And if I'm the Wildcats, you really hope that you can get something going here early and throw the Ravens off balance here.
So it looked like we had something on the field there. Not sure what it could be, but it looks like it goes into the hand warmer. So the Wildcats led by junior quarterback Gavin Powell, which will go under center. And there's still a stoppage. What what could we possibly be waiting for? Maybe these are some clock issues as well.
Trying to figure some things out.
Yeah, very interesting.
Not a lot of tape on this Wildcats offense. So you imagine the Ravens are going to have to figure things out as this game goes along.
Middle! Well, either way, now we'll be back in action as Powell will give you the handoff up the middle, and the Ravens defense was all over that. They were looking for Trent and
shut it down. This is the kind of defense the Ravens have been known for these past couple of games. They really hit their stride, and this momentum of the game right now is all Ravens, and you can't be in this position if you're the Wildcats this early. Obviously, Wildcats defense comes up big and has a stop. The Wildcats, they need to step on the gas here. They need to get things going, or else you're gonna give the Ravens the ball back with a whole lot of momentum.
So they're gonna go shotgun formation. I love to see this out of the Wildcats. They send a man in motion. As Darius Hunt went, and he went in motion. That's a great screen pass from the Wildcats, and that will get some much-needed yardage.
Very well executed. Get those yards back, and now, we're third down. See what they can do here.
Much more manageable as they found Jalen Warner there in the play to pick up about 7. So now a 3rd and 5. We'll see if they go back shotgun formation here. Option!
You don't see that a lot in these high school offenses. I love that the Wildcats are comfortable passing, especially this early on.
They're going to go I formation. I love this Wildcats offense as they go right up the middle. No, they faked it. Wow, what a play. They faked it to Trent Kemp, the fullback, and instead they gave it off the left side. Still short of the first down. And this
Ravens all over that. David DeCampley, there with the stop. That's big.
So they're going to send the punter out here. It's going to be interesting on whether or not they're going to go for it, but they're confident in Kevin Ryan here.
I think that's the play. You don't want to give the Ravens offense, with Jared Sample running as well as he's running right now in that good field position.
So Kevin Ryan will punt it deep here for the Wildcats. Low snap.
Fair catch.
But since the ball hit the turf, no, his knee went down. They're going to say that Kevin Ryan's knee went down on the play.
Wow. You don't see that often.
That may be a very, very costly mistake for the Wildcats, because now they're in worse field position than what they would have or could have been if they went for it.
And now you're thinking coulda, woulda, shoulda. Probably should have gone for that, if you could see the future there. And now the Ravens are going to go back on, and, Reinecker and Sample are going to do their thing, and we're going to see if the Ravens can capitalize here.
In all fairness to Kevin Ryan there, I don't think that's a call that most referees make.
No.
But instead, up the middle, Sample is just going. We had helmets flying on the play.
That's a guy you don't want running after you. I mean, he was just running through bodies there. That's what they need to do.
Sample comes up limping on the play.
Got a little bit banged up. As you notice, Ravens wearing some pink, fans in the pink, just repping Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We'd love to see that from the school.
So 2nd and short here for the Ravens. Sample is still shaken up.
Sample calls the timeout. He's hurting a little bit.
That will be a huge loss for the Ravens.
You take the timeout, you evaluate him, you see if it's something major. This could be a situation where he just needs to take a couple plays off. Hopefully for the Ravens and for him, he's well. He's going to stretch out a little bit on the sideline. Lucky for them, Reinecker still been running really well.
Well, and now we're also going to see him mix with Zion Roach. He is a sophomore. He's going to come in. He showed some flashes last week. Not the not the guy that's going to run over defenders, but very quick option to the outside. So that's who we'll assume is going to take a step in and a role now for the Ravens now that Sample's out, hopefully only for a few plays if you're a Ravens fan.
Yeah, first time out of the game, you know, giving this offense some time to rest, giving the Wildcats some time to figure out how they're going to stop this Ravens team. And if you're the Wildcats, you're a little bit thankful that, you know, Sample's on the sideline for this play.
Might be an opportunity for the defensive line to get after this Ravens offensive line. Nonetheless, Roach and Reinecker in the backfield. They're going to toss to Reinecker off the right side. Reinecker gets about a yard or two, so a fresh set it down for Sussex Tech.
He tried to get around the edge, decided to cut back in the middle. Not a lot of blocking there, but he gets the first down, and that's what you need.
So about 3 minutes left here in the first quarter. We are still scoreless.
Still scoreless, but these fans, they're loud. They're expecting the Ravens to get a touchdown here.
The Ravens have shown even when you get in maybe more of traditional field goal position, they elect to keep the offense out there looking for touchdowns.
And I like that aggressive play, you know.
So Roach and Reinecker still in the backfield here for the Ravens. This time they give handoff to Reinecker, and it looks like Reinecker's going to be, you know, taking most of the workload.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, he's the guy with the experience. Obviously, last game coming off a touchdown, that's what you're going to do. But you're really hoping, if you're the Ravens, that Sample is going to get back in here.
And it looks like they're working on Sample on the sideline. Must have been, it looked like it was an ankle injury.
It had to be, and that happens when you're running over people, quite literally. So
a 2nd and 8, ball on the 26, halfback toss to the right. They give it to Roach.
Little shifty, couldn't get around the defender, and now he's taken down.
And a bunch of guys in the play there for the Delmar Wildcats. Jacob Kirby in. I mean, they had 4 or 5 defenders.
They were all over that. And, oh, look who's trotting back on the field. Jaron Sample back on the field. Let's hope that he was just shaken up a little bit and that there's nothing more than that.
Hey, Josh, I mean, you got to say Sample's getting the ball here, right?
I mean, you'd imagine.
Can we Tony Romo call here, color guy?
I mean, you have to see. Seven's getting the ball here.
Reinecker
I'd be surprised if he doesn't.
In the backfield, they give this Sample. No, they didn't. They did a little trickery around the edge. And what a move from the Ravens.
Wow.
That's a touchdown, Jeremiah Handy.
Jeremiah Handy coming in handy in that position. I mean, they had everybody fooled. Everybody. I mean, when you have number 7 on the field, he is obviously a threat. They thought they thought the same thing we were thinking.
We thought it was going to Sample, right?
And they do a little trickery, and Handy comes up big, and now it's a 6-0 game.
As the Ravens are going to stay out and attempt to go for the 2-point conversion. Call them the Los Angeles Chargers.
I mean, they haven't been stopped today. I love this call, Pat.
They go Sample off the right edge. He cuts up the middle. Did he get there? No, he did not.
No good. And I still like that call. You know, put it in Sample's hands. And now it's time for the Wildcats to respond. Obviously, that's what happens when you give great field position and, you know, you can't.
Okay, so now we'll go to a replay of this touchdown here in a second, as soon as we get that loaded up. But as we look for the Ravens here, they've gotten out to the 6-0 lead, and now if you're a Wildcats fan, you're one drive away.
Yeah, and you have to close the gap before it becomes bigger. And so we're going to see what happens here.
And, you know, we're talking a lot about the Wildcats maybe not having the momentum, but when you look at it, you look at a team that's now coming off 2 consecutive victories in the Ravens. As they've shut out people, it's important to get something going early, right, Josh?
Absolutely. I mean, Tech has been in control of this game so far. And, I mean, you're just going to have to see their defense play again. Their defense well-rested, and they've been playing well. And so if you're Woodbridge, if you're Delmar, you're thinking, you know, you got to get something going here.
So that's going to go to Takei Hugi, which will take it off to the left side for the Wildcats. He's got a block. He's got some open lanes. He cuts back up midfield as the Ravens special teams will get him down, but that's the kind of response the Wildcats need.
They needed that. First of all, outstanding blocking by the Wildcats, and man, is he fast. Wow.
As soon as Hugi got that open lane off the left side, I mean, it was basically a track meet.
I thought it was over the second I saw the Ravens swarming him. He gets around them, and he takes off. Wow. Big response by the Wildcats.
So a huge play gets the Wildcats in opponent's territory to start this drive.
Let's see what happens here.
They go handoff up the middle, and hey, if you have that play every single time out of the senior Trent Kemp, you will be looking at positive yards.
You take that, you take that. I mean, already this drive is off to a better start than their last one. As the clock winds down here, Ravens, you know, have all the momentum right now. They need to stop this because the Wildcats are looking to turn the table.
They are. Looks like we'll have one final play as we're under 30 seconds remaining here in this first quarter action. Powell is under center. Kemp is the fullback. They give it. No, they fake it to Kemp. They go off to the right side, and that's a spin move. What a spin move out of Warner.
I mean, he did that play incredible. Didn't have the blocks that you'd hope he'd have, but he just used his speed and he got around them. And now the Wildcats are in great field position.
I mean, we've talked about momentum here through the first quarter, and Delmar is coming, taking it away. Ball on the 19-yard line. Looks like the clock's going to run out here before the Wildcats will get an opportunity to get this play off. And just like that, the first quarter is over here in Georgetown. So we're going to flip fields. But Josh, as we have a moment to pause, what has impressed you so far from the Ravens offense?
Well, obviously it's number 7 Sample. I mean, that's the guy you want to have the ball every play. I mean, even when you put him in, he's the reason that fake play works and they get a touchdown, you know? I mean, when you have a guy who's drawing defenders like that, I mean, because you have to sell it to stop him. And when you do that, it creates opportunities elsewhere.
Now, let's turn the tables here. Wildcats on offense. Okay.
Wildcats on offense. I mean, it was an underwhelming first drive by them, to say the least. But now, I mean, they get things going. Obviously, huge return. And that's a big part of it. Trying to shift the way things are going. I mean, but what I need to see from them is I need to see the ball in number 12's hands a little bit more if I'm the Wildcats.
It looks to be that Jalen Warner, number 12 on the Wildcats, is a playmaker on that offense. So we'll see if they get him the opportunity to get the ball more in his hands, but it looks like they're going to stay. I mean, I think we can almost call it a big 3 for the Wildcats to this point. Trent Kemp, Jalen Warner, and Gavin Powell is the big 3 on that Wildcats offense.
Yeah.
And with the ball on the 19-yard line, as we get underway here in the second quarter, we'll see what this Wildcats coaching staff draws up here for the offense. As they go fake off, and just like that, Warner gets the ball.
Taken down, not a lot of blocks. And you know, it's hard sometimes to get around when you have the entire defense swarming you. That was a great stop by the Ravens.
And you know, when we talked there, in between the quarters, Josh says, get the ball in Warner's hands first play out of the break. They go to Warner.
I mean, he's the guy with the hot hand, or was. And, I mean, when number 12 gets into open space, he is so fast, and he can make a man miss.
So, what happened there? Loose ball, and Warner falls on it for the Delmar Wildcats.
That was very close. And if you're on the Wildcat sideline, you're a little bit, you take a big sigh there, because that could have been very bad for the Wildcats. And the Ravens defense is all over them right now.
So just when the Wildcats We're in the red zone. Now they're back on the 22. It's going to be a 3rd and 13 here. And you got to imagine maybe they go back shotgun formation.
We'll see. I mean, they came off passing in their first drive. That screen pass looked good. We'll see what they do here.
So they do not. They go back under center. Man in motion. They give it off to the right side. Ravens defense all over it. They gave it off.
Grant Allen.
Yeah. So Ray J. Allen also on the carry. So Allen to Allen there.
Yeah.
So interesting decision here for the Delmar Wildcats.
Yeah, I mean, going for it. I like this. When you're down, you got to play aggressive, and that's what they're doing.
4th and 4, so much more manageable. What are you looking to do here if you're calling the play here?
I mean, if I'm calling the play, get around the outside. Let your running backs use their speed and see if you can make something happen here.
They go to Messick. No, they don't. They go back outside to Allen, and Allen had plenty of room, and he dives for the end zone. Yes, he gets in.
Wow.
Allen with the touchdown, and the Wildcats respond.
And that's exactly what you needed to do. Let those running backs use their speed. Great blocks. And just like that, we're in a tie ball game.
Ray J. Allen. He has shown some speed out of the backfield for the Wildcats, and just like that, I don't know how he got into the end zone.
And if you're the Ravens defense, the shutout streak ends.
It does.
But right now, you're not in this game responding on offense.
So Wildcats give it up the middle this time. An easy walk in.
And just like that, everything switches. It started with that massive return, and they just kept pounding away. And now, we're going to see what Brad Ellingsworth cooks up, with this Ravens offense in response.
Right, so interesting there. Somewhere lost in all of that. The referee signaled touchdown on the Allen run. Then marked him out at the 3. So that play was not the 2-point conversion. It was actually the touchdown.
Okay.
So
that was okay.
Right, but so now we get Van Zandt in, and that's a bad snap, bad hold. How did he get that off? That's a doink. And that's in. What just happened there?
I was not ready for that. Hey, listen. It wasn't pretty, but it goes in, and that's all you take.
I mean, they went bad hold to, I don't know how it didn't get blocked, to doink, to somehow in.
Wow.
That play had everything.
So 7-6 now. Ravens trail a point. I mean, that ball takes a wrong bounce. You're looking at a tied game right now. Hits the post in the inside.
They get the Justin Tucker bounce, not the Cody Parkey bounce.
Yeah, and you take that. It was a tough snap, and all credit
the Wildcats
to the Wildcats for putting that through. And now we'll see if this Wildcats defense can slow the Ravens.
Well, that's the thing is you got to think last time the Ravens scored, they had a short field.
Yeah.
So back deep here for the Ravens when we get underway as the Wildcats are lining up their special teams. They're going to have the speedster, Zion Roach. Van Zandt so far, the kicker, number 16 for the Wildcats. Looks like one of the better kickers in the conference.
Yeah. I mean, he's been impressive. He's done what he's had to do.
They're going to go squib
it
up the middle.
And
they got to pick that up. Handy's got to make a move. Handy's still on his feet.
Wow. Handy comes in. I mean, he could have been down at the 20. He extends that play, and he gets to them to about the 35.
So now the Delmar Wildcats defensive line will come out after giving up the touchdown to Handy on the last play.
If you're the Ravens, you know, what's the game plan here? Are you sticking with the Sample run up the middle?
Because clearly Sample's now a little banged up.
A little banged up. We're going to see maybe a little bit more rotation in these running backs.
They'll give it to Reinecker this time, and the Wildcats defense is all over it. In on the tackle, Carroll Nicholson.
Wow, I mean, the tide is changing, and the Ravens need to respond. We'll see what the second-year coach is gonna cook up here, because I mean, I don't want to say it, but I think the Wildcats are starting to figure out this run game a little bit.
Well, when you look at it, it's other than the trick play, they've mostly limited the big plays this Wildcats defense has.
Yeah.
They give it up the middle to Sample. Sample almost gets away.
Hey.
Sample is running through the Wildcats defense.
Sample was an arm away from a touchdown. If he gets loose, he is hard to stop. And, you know, and props to the Wildcats for shutting that down, because that could have been disastrous for them.
Sample was trying to go airborne there. Just got tackled by the foot.
You know, tries to go for the second hurdle of the day. Doesn't quite get it.
So a 3rd and 3, they're going to mark it here for the Ravens as they go different formation. They have 3 backs in the backfield, but they still give it to Reinecker. They had Jace Harmon in on the play as an extra blocker, almost essentially as a fullback there. Yeah. But this is huge. They're about a half a yard short.
Half a yard short, and we've seen what the Wildcats can do when they get good field position. You know, you really don't want to give it up here.
So we're going to officially call it 4th and about a foot and a half. As they're going to go, I think we're going to go see same play here, except they go Sample in the backfield, and Sample, oh, that looked like a late hit. Don't think that was intentional, but Sample got hit in the face, and Sample is taking a beating so far.
I know. I mean, and listen, when you run as strong as Sample does, when you're that type of running back, you know, defenses are going to do whatever they can to get you down, and so far, Sample's been taking a beating. I mean, the Wildcats are throwing everything they can at Sample to try to get him down and prevent him from doing these big breakout plays.
So the officials come on over, check on Sample there. He will stay in the game. Has a fresh set of downs there for the Ravens. The Ravens are just going to stick with this formation as they go Harmon, Reinecker, and Sample in the backfield. That's a broken play. And Justin Moore will be hit. He made a positive out of it, but that was a broken play.
Yeah, I mean, it's smart by him to make that read and realize, you know, hey, we don't want to lose yards here. I'm going to take it myself, try to salvage this. And, you know, that's a smart play.
Well, just from an interesting perspective here, we hadn't seen that formation at all today, and now they've gone with that same formation 3 straight plays.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like maybe a little bit of a chess match going on between the coaches trying to figure things out.
I do have to say, I do love that the Delmar Wildcats head coach, Dave Hearn, he's in the tie over there on the sideline.
Oh, yeah. I mean, dressed up nice, Friday Night Lights, special occasion.
He's looking like Vince Lombardi.
It's a great look for him. It really works. I mean, and right now, you know, you're pretty happy if you're him. Dressed up nice, winning the football game.
Right, in great weather. Now, the question is, of course, the Lombardi Trophy in the NFL, named after Vince Lombardi. How many state championships does it take to get the DIAA state championship trophy named the Hearn Trophy?
I don't know. How many?
I mean, over-under's got to be 3.5. So a timeout there from the Ravens, as clearly it looked like Coach Brad Ellingsworth was not happy with what he saw pre-snap there.
No.
And wanted to take an opportunity to kind of rethink things.
Yeah.
So ball on the 48-yard line. It's going to be a 2nd and 7. They'll go back to more of their traditional backfield with just Reinecker and Sample as they give it to Reinecker off the right side this time. Reinecker with maybe a yard on the play. and that will lead to a 3rd and long.
You know, what I love about these Sample, Reiniger, combinations that they're doing is whoever doesn't have the ball, they know the assignment. They're leading that block. And you saw their Sample just going at people. And you love to see that versatility from your running backs.
I mean, this Ravens offense truly lives and dies by whether or not their line gets the push up front.
Yeah.
So a big 3rd down here for the Ravens, 3rd and 6. Just over 5 minutes left here, first half action, 7-6. The Ravens are just barely trailing as they give it off to Handy on the sweep, and Handy has a lot of room off to the left side. He cuts back midfield, but is swarmed by the Wildcats, but that's definitely enough to pick up a first down.
And that's a big play. Handy gets outside there, and he's fast, tries to cut it back up. Wildcats were all over that, but you love to see that.
So something different there out of the Ravens. They decided to go with the sweep play.
And you love to see them mixing it up. You saw that on their scoring drive. Now you're seeing it here. It's nice to see they can hammer you home with Sample and Reiniger, and then mix it up. And then it puts the Wildcats, off balance. And that's ultimately what you're trying to do.
So fresh set of downs here for the Ravens with the ball in the 33. They go Sample up the middle. Sample, I mean, he is trying to win angry run of the night.
Hit the spin move, try to lose a guy, and then ultimately gets taken down.
I mean, he went spin move, stiff arm.
I mean, you love to see that. And if you're the Ravens, you love that this guy has a whole nother year ahead of him.
That's huge. It's huge if you're Brad Ellingsworth and the coaching staff.
I mean, unbelievable. I'm surprised that we haven't seen Sample, really let loose this game. He's had a couple of runs where you feel like he's almost so close to just getting away from them. But props to the Wildcats for being able to shut that down.
Yeah, that defensive line hanging in tough, but they go pass this time to Moore. Moore will go to Sample on the pass. Sample loses the ball. That's recovered by the Wildcats. Number 3, Mark Oakley, able to pick it up, and that might be a huge play in this game.
That was huge. I mean, the Ravens, they were making plays. Sample really was just leading that offense. I mean, that's a great pass. You get it, and you just have to hold on there. And, big props to the Wildcats for that stop because they really needed that.
The Ravens decided to go with a pass. You don't see that too much out of them. They get the completion, but then the turnover, unfortunately.
And, you hate to see what was such a great drive, stopped in that way.
So now the question here is, ball in the 15, 3:43 left. Can the Wildcats march all the way down the field?
And they haven't done that yet this game. Obviously, only their 3rd possession. We'll see.
As they'll go handoff right side, and that was
big stop.
Was that a flag? It looked like the referee kept it in his pocket. Ian Riley got up and stood over the Delmar Wildcat there. I'm kind of shocked that wasn't a flag.
I mean, that's one of those plays where you take that energy and you get after it, and you're not even thinking, and you're just hoping the ref doesn't throw something.
Ref reached for the flag, stuck it back in the pocket.
And I agree with the call. I mean, listen, when you're in high school and you make a play like that, you're going to be excited. Didn't let it carry him away too much. And that's one if you're the ref, maybe a second time you throw that, but I like him letting them have a little personality.
So we got Allen and Kemp. They give it off Allen right side. And the Ravens defense is now forced another 3rd and long, and they have a chance to get the ball back.
I know, and that's what you needed. The Ravens understood the assignment, and we're going to see here. Because after this drive, if the Ravens can stop him, you have to just wonder, can the Wildcats score if they don't have good field position?
And the other thing is, you got to now with 2:25 left and the clock is running. These are not two offenses that score quick.
No. So we'll see what happens here.
They're going to go shotgun formation. This time they're going to stick Kemp side by side as they look out. Powell
making some people miss.
I mean, Powell, he got out of the pocket, but just not quite able to get the first down. We'll see the punt unit come on for the 2nd time today for Delmar.
Yeah. and you don't like to see that. Obviously, force the fumble, big play. You're hoping that you can maybe make this a 2-score game, and obviously that's not how you want to end it.
So Coach Brad Ellingsworth for the Sussex Tech Ravens calls a timeout there. 1:53 remaining on the clock here in Georgetown.
I think if you're the Ravens, your biggest hope is, you hand the ball off to either Sample or Reininger, and you hope one of them gets let loose.
We've seen when the Ravens do go to pass, it's a bootleg to the right. Do you think we possibly, if we do see the Ravens go to the air, do we see something reverse? Do we see maybe more roll to his left?
I don't know. We'll see. I'd love to see, obviously you don't want to go into the half trailing. And this is a big opportunity for the Ravens to go into the half with a lead. And, the way their defense has been playing, it's, you feel very good if you're in that position.
So the Wildcats out for the punt here. Kevin Ryan back to try to punt and get the Wildcats in deep. Luke West with a fair catch, as there was easily 6 Wildcat defenders there. So smart play, great field position here.
Amazing field position, and we're gonna see if the Ravens can do it. They only have 1:47 left, in the half. Let's see what they can do.
7-6 ball game. If you're just joining us now, it's been 2 short field positions out of both offenses that have turned into points.
And if you're looking at this game, like both defenses, like I was saying in the beginning of the game,
You
have been
called a
playing
low-scoring game,
really
Josh.
well. And it's really going to be about which offense can take the edge here.
1:47 they're going to put back on the clock as Moore will go toss to the right. They give it to Handy. Handy's spin move there.
Man,
He'll
is that
gain about
kid
4.
fast. Handy, scored a touchdown earlier. When he gets the ball, if he can get some good blocks, he is off. And I love the way they've been using him. Put him in, to break things up. You think the ball's going to Sample, hand it to Handy, and it's been working out for the Ravens so far.
So they're going to go a little bit more up-tempo here. More under center. Gives it to Sample straight up the middle, and the Wildcats are all over it.
All over him. Still, as long as you're getting positive yards, you take that.
So now just over a minute remaining here in Georgetown. The Ravens went for 2 on their scoring drive, was unsuccessful. The Wildcats kicked an extra point. That's why we have the difference of a 7-6 ball game here.
Now, what I'd love to see here is if they can't get something going, do they send the field goal unit out, see if they can put it up, and maybe go into the half with a couple-point lead?
We're now down to 40 seconds. It looks like the Ravens are just trying to almost run out the clock at this point.
Oh,
they go a little trickery. Handy to the left. He gets a block from his quarterback. Handy. That play was very exciting for a 3-yard gain.
Handy's the guy on your tool belt that's special. He has that little bit of something that's different. He's not the run up the middle guy like Sample. He's not the guy who's just going to ground and pound you. But when he gets loose, that's impressive.
So a timeout was taken there. 20.8 left on the clock. They're going to mark this, I think, as a 4th down, but nope, they're going to come out and measure this. I love this. We get the chain gang in.
Get the chains out, especially 20 seconds left. Such a close game. You want to make sure everything's right.
And they signal for the 1st down.
Wow, and that's, you say that's huge, but with 20 seconds left, you really only have a couple plays left anyway. And so, if you're the Ravens, you have to do something big here.
You got to think you with this type of offense, you got to think you got 1 play left.
If I'm them, I go to the air here. I see they haven't really tested the passing game.
As they do, they roll to the right. Moore, the senior quarterback, looks.
Oh,
that's off the hands. Was looking for Grant Allen on the play.
And that was a great throw. Hits him in the chest. You drop it, and you have to imagine they're going to go air here one more time and see if they can do something.
12.7. Now that by all means was not going to get enough. That
No,
was not going to be
no.
a touchdown play.
No. And I guess the positive out of that is the clock stops. You have a chance to run maybe 1 or 2 more plays depending on what they do here.
Would have to agree with you there, Josh.
You
The
know?
only thing is you got to keep in mind here for the Ravens, out of timeouts, Delmar left with all 3.
Okay. I mean, you got Luke West on that outside. No, sorry. You
That's
have
Handy on
Jeremiah
the
Handy
outside.
on the outside, and they run it.
They gave it to Reinecker. At this point, just looking to get, there's a late flag.
Let's see what this is. This could be big for the Ravens.
4.8 left on the clock. This could be huge because the Ravens might be able to get one more playoff.
One more playoff.
How many times have we said that?
I
in
mean,
the last
4.8 seconds left on the clock. And I like that the Ravens are still going for this here.
Well, you might as well.
I mean, you have to. You have to.
I mean, we could sound like two guys that don't know what they're talking about if this turns into like a pick 6 or something.
That's true. That's true. I mean, this Wildcats defense has been impressive.
They have forced the turnover.
They have forced a turnover. So I guess if the Ravens, you know, if the Ravens here, oh, we're moving
Moving the ball up.
the ball up a little bit.
Okay, so you got 23 yards. Running clock,
There's a face mask on the play there.
and Moore goes deep right side. Moore, strong throw. He's got Handy on the play. Handy touchdown. That ends the half. That's a connection. Moore to Handy, and Handy with the second touchdown of the game.
What a game for Handy. He's fast. He beats his man, and Moore throws him a perfect ball. Catches this. I mean, wow. You don't see that every day in high school football.
Just when we thought the Ravens were looking to go into the locker room down 1, they're now going to be at least up 5.
And I love that call. You know, you're thinking maybe at the beginning of that drive, they're just going to try to run the ball, see if they can break loose. But they elect to go with the passing. And, I mean, now they're going to go out here. Looks like they're going to go for the 2 points.
They're going to try to get that missed opportunity back earlier. 0 is on the clock as they will go for a 2-point conversion. Reinecker, Sample in the backfield. And it looks like there's going to be a flag there on Delmar. It was roughing the passer. So even if they didn't get the connection to Andy, there would have been another play.
Exactly.
So 0 is on the clock. The Ravens, obviously, 2-point conversion, on-time down anyway, but they'll get their on-time down here and get an opportunity to get into the end zone to make it a 14-7 lead.
Which is very big for the Ravens. You know, at one point you're down. Now you're going into the half with the lead. And if you're the Wildcats, you know, you have to be thinking, what can we do in the second half to change things up, to get things going? I mean, the Ravens' offense has been impressive, and their defense has been impressive. We'll see if they can get the 2 points here.
So Tech back on their feet. The Ravens crowd getting excited at the opportunity to get this to a 7-point game. As soon as we get football underway here, big stoppage.
Trying to straighten some things out.
So Moore under center, Sample, Reinecker in the backfield. They give a pitch off to Sample. Sample is just not going to get there.
No,
I mean, that was predictable.
No, no block there. He gets wrapped up. So, and I never count Sample out. I mean, when he has the ball, he can make something work with it. They go into the half now, 12-7. And if I could summarize the first half, Jeremiah Handy.
Jeremiah Handy, the star of the show in the first half, as now both teams will make their way to the locker room. As we look at the replay here on the Moore to Handy connection. Moore throws it deep back of the end zone. Handy, it was man-to-man coverage, and I mean, I don't know if you could throw a better pass than that.
I mean,
Josh.
it wasn't terrible coverage by number 11, Allen, and it was just a better thrown ball.
So now, with both teams heading to the locker
Great
room,
job, guys. You can.
we will have a live performance from the Sussex Tech Ravens marching band. We'll see you on the other side of halftime. Enjoy the halftime show.
See you guys.
Leading the band on the field tonight is drum major, Miss Caitlin Vogel. We kicked off the show tonight with Ariana Grande's Focus. We now bring you Poker Face by Lady Gaga. This song was released in 2008 and it reached number 2 on the US Billboard Top 100 in 2009. Taking the field is the Reflections Color Guard. They are under the direction of Miss Jennifer Carter. In 2010, Rihanna and Eminem collaborated on this next round of presents. Ladies and gentlemen, for the listening and viewing pleasure, we give you Love the Way You Lie, Part 2. For without them, this would not be possible. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for the Raven Nation.
And the city eliminated the leading third state military academy 6-0.
I think if I'm the Wildcats, you're hoping you can get a good return off this, get them in a good field position.
How they scored last time, right?
We've seen they've been able to have good returns. Obviously, we'll see if that was a fluke or if they can do that consistently. But yeah, I mean, I think it's important to get good field position to start this drive, and then really find their rhythm, find a tempo, and let's see if they can shift things back, and force their defense to be the ones that make the stop. You know, the last thing you want is the Wildcats to be in a position where they feel like it's offense versus offense. Because right now, the Ravens are playing better offense. You need to hope you can get a position where it's defense versus defense again for the Wildcats.
And the Ravens have shown that they will go for it on fourth down.
Yeah, and having that extra down, you know, is important, especially when you have a guy like Sample and a guy like Reiniger who, you know, they're not getting taken for loss. They're going out and they're getting positive yardage, you know, one way or another. And so, yeah, I'm going to be curious to see, you know, any adjustments that these two teams make. And I think it's going to be exciting. If it's anything like the first half, I think this is going to be a very exciting second half of football.
The first half had a little bit of everything, man.
It really was. I mean, you had a little bit of the defenses going at each other, some turnovers. You had a couple offensive plays that were just, you know, spectacular.
But I really think the shifts in momentum that I think we really touched on in the first quarter, where we said the Ravens had the momentum, then the Wildcats really dominated the second quarter until that final play.
And exactly. So it's going to be, I'm going to be curious to see, you know, what these two teams do differently. And if I'm the Ravens, I'm feeling very good because they've shown that, you know, they can run the ball, but they also shown when they need to pass, you know, you can rely on their passing game to do something. I mean, other than, you know, you have the fumble from Sample, but other than that, that was a great throw. You know, you have that second throw that was just, you know, that was as good as it gets. So the Ravens show that they're not just one-dimensional. Yes, they're going to run the ball, but they can also do something else as we go into kickoff here.
Jaden Mifflin will kick the squib kick off to the Wildcats, and that's how you eliminate a big return.
Absolutely. Number 81 falls on that, and yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens here. Wildcats are going to get this ball, and we'll see what they can do if they can get some offense going.
So this Wildcats offense will take over at the 32-yard line to begin this second half. 12-7 Ravens lead. A little bit unconventional score here.
Yeah.
As the Ravens have gone for two-point conversions, haven't got it. And the Wildcats kicked an extra point, but that was eventful too.
I know. I mean, every play has been exciting here, and we'll see what they do here.
So Powell gives it up off the middle, gives it up to Kemp, and Kemp will, you know, fight his way for a couple extra yards there.
Yeah, he battled for those extra yards. Still, you know, you only pick up a couple, but I think that's exactly what they need to do. Just continue to run the ball. I'd like to see from this half from the Wildcats maybe a little bit, you know, mix things up. The Ravens, they have Handy. They've been, you know, putting him in some different plays, some sweeps.
Well, earlier you called for Warner, and they got to him, but we really haven't seen a whole lot of him.
Exactly.
Since then.
I think I love to see the Wildcats mix it up. Instead of just going at the middle, let's see if we can get them around the outside, maybe do something else there.
So they go I formation. Look who's in the backfield. It's Warner, and that's who they give it to.
And, you know, picks up a few, makes this third down a lot more manageable. They need to get this, or else I think it's going to be a completely Ravens second half here.
Really? Because I think another thing you have to think of, a 3rd and 4 is what they're going to call it. If they don't pick up this third down, do you go for it on 4th?
I don't think you do. I think when your defense has been playing the way it has, you have to rely on them. The last thing you want to do is not get it and give this ball and the offense that's been playing well with really good field position.
Really, because analytics say the opposite. I'm just kidding. This is
no. This is high school football. Things are different here.
They go pass. Got got an open man. That's Kemp, and Kemp is off to the races. He's got a couple blockers, and that's a big chunk play from the Wildcats.
Wow. I mean, great throw, and, yards after catch. They needed that, and now they're in great field position.
You know what they call that? They call that the yak, yards after catch.
Wow. And like I said, I think that was a big first down. 'Cause now, no matter what happens, you score here, great. You don't score,
you flip the field.
Exactly. That's sometimes that means something.
So a big chunk play will get the ball to the 28-yard line to start this fresh set of downs for the Wildcats.
Delmar said, hey, we can pass the ball too,
So they got Kemp, and they go option pitch to the right side.
The Ravens were all over that.
They had Kemp and Warner in the backfield there, and they went option to Warner.
Yeah, honestly, you almost wish that you just gave the ball to Warner there. You probably would have got a little bit extra.
That's truly like that's a read on the quarterback. That's truly an option play there.
Yeah. So maybe bad read. You didn't lose yards, which you take, but they got to capitalize on this field position.
And a nice spot will give them actually a 2-yard gain, which is a huge plus.
Yeah.
So Powell under center. They're going to go Kemp and Warner in the backfield again. As this time they give it up the middle to Kemp. And call this the Kemp drop.
Wow, I mean, he's doing it all for them right now.
Trent Kemp, he's a two-way player, running back and linebacker.
And he's playing well. I mean, I see no reason for them to stop giving it to him. It seems like when the ball's in his hands, good things happen for Delmar.
3rd and very short here for the Delmar Wildcats.
And you're talking about...
They're actually going to mark it as a fresh set of downs.
Oh, that's perfect.
So 1st and 10 from the 18. A little over 3 minutes in here to second half action. Delmar down one score, 12-7. This ball goes to Kemp, and they take the Josh Klein advice, and they're just feeding Kemp.
Feed him until the Ravens can stop him. Now, I mean, you're in a great field position. Ravens need to stop here because if you're looking at it, a score here because the Ravens missed those 2-point conversions. Now you're talking about a touchdown puts them in the lead, and if I'm Delmar here, I might go for that 2-point conversion, try to make it a 3-point game.
It's a little bit different formation here, but almost the same play. They faked it to Kemp, gave it to Warner. This time the Ravens defense all over it.
All over it. So we'll see what they can do here.
So a 3rd and 3.
This will be a huge stop for the Ravens if they can get this. I think they're in 4th down territory right now,
That's what I was about to say.
So,
now would you go for the 4th down?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously you show your kicker, he can make kicks, but when you're in a game like this so close, you don't want to settle for the 3.
And again, we talked about the sort of conference realignment. The Delaware system redid they've upended the whole system. So this is a new matchup. As they gave it to Kemp, and Kemp's got the first down. And what that means is if you have 2 500 teams sitting here, we're unsure of what the playoff standings are going to look like as necessarily how many wins get you in. Whereas before you looked at the number 7, and that kind of got you in the ballpark. This could be a big game for both programs to try to get something going.
I think so. And so we'll see what I think. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Like you said, with the change, and every win matters, no matter what, anyway. So I don't even think they're thinking about that. But this is a must-win game for the Ravens, I believe.
And the Wildcats, I would say, is they gave it to. They went fake to Kemp, and then they gave it to Warner on the play. As this will leave a 2nd and goal. We're almost halfway through this 3rd quarter.
Yeah. We're close. I mean, that's what happens when you have 2 run-heavy teams going at it. The clock's going to run fast, and it makes every possession matter that much more. Because when you know that each possession is going to take up such a chunk of time, you have to make it count, and that's why it's so important for Delmar to capitalize here, because you give the ball back to the Ravens. I mean, you don't know when you're getting that ball again.
Ball on the 3-yard line. This could be a huge play. They give it off to Kemp, and he is going to get to the goal line. Did he? Yes, they mark him in.
Hey, he helped make that drive, and just like that, Tides have turned again, and the Wildcats are back on top. This has been a back-and-forth game this whole time. Obviously, Delmar, they take the early lead, and then Ravens respond. No, Ravens take the early lead. Delmar responds. Ravens respond, and then now Delmar answers. I mean, it's just really been a back-and-forth match.
So interesting there. We mentioned some clock issues. Don't know if this had something to go with that. But the Wildcats scored, and then the clock ran for quite a bit there. Be interesting to see how that plays off. No matter what the time left on the clock is, the scoreboard does say 13-12, and the Wildcats are back in the lead.
And they're going to kick the extra point. We remember what happened last time. Got it, barely. Let's see what happens here.
So Van Zandt looks like he has a broken wrist. But that's not stopping him from kicking. Good snap, good hold this time, and that's much
right up the middle. Wasn't as nerve-wracking for Delmar fans that first time.
Let me tell you something. That Delmar Wildcats sideline is buzzing now.
Oh, they're excited. Flags run across the field. And now the Ravens need to answer. What do you think's going to happen here, Patrick?
The Ravens have to respond. Look, I mean, what's the expression? You hear a whole lot of different variations, but once you get cut, you get punched in the mouth, how do you respond? And that's what just happened to the Ravens.
Okay,
here we go. We got our end zone camera here, and this we'll see how it was just somewhat of a walk-in touchdown there for Kemp.
I mean, it really was. That's how you draw up the play. They executed it, how it was written, and yeah, I mean that's textbook offense right there. You'd love to see that, from the Wildcats.
Great shot there from our team down in the end zone, and
we're going to see another angle of this play.
We'll go back high above here as they gave it straight up to Kemp here. Kemp goes left side. And we're talking about a game of inches here.
And we're talking about a couple misassignments there from the offensive line. You see, a couple missed blocks, but, that didn't stop him.
So Van Zandt back on. We'll try to kick it deep for the Ravens. They got Roach back there.
Couple squibs.
As they go squib again. Just falls on it. Yeah, I mean, you just got to be happy to fall on the ball. You're Simeon Hill, but I don't think you realize how much room he had if he could have picked that ball up.
I think he could have picked that ball up and, probably gotten 5 or 10 more yards out of that. But put the Ravens in better position. But, you take nothing at any time on special teams, especially at the high school level. You're just hoping that nothing crazy happens. You're hoping for a smooth transaction from one team to the other. A lot could go wrong on special teams, and so far, we saw that in the first half of the punt.
So first time on the field for the Ravens offense, they go Reinecker.
Couple missed blocks.
Reinecker will get 2 or 3 on the play.
And still positive yardage, which you take.
So Reinecker sample combination has really been what they've fed through today.
It seems like they've been going that 1-2 punch Reinecker sample, and then they keep going at you until they want to mix it up, and they throw in handy. And I think that's been working because you expect the ball to go to Sample's hand, and then they switch it up. We'll see what they do here.
2nd and 8. This time it does go to Sample. Sample is a tough player to tackle.
No, it takes at least 2 guys to get him down. He just runs downhill. He's going to make you hit him hard. Had a couple nice blocks there. Ends up getting wrapped up. Clock's ticking. 4:50 left in this quarter.
So here in the third quarter, if you're just joining us late, 14-12 game. The Wildcats on the road are up. But now the Ravens right back on the field with a chance and opportunity to respond here on a 3rd and 2. That's going to be a false start. That's a tough penalty for the Ravens.
No, you don't want that. No, if you're a fan of the Ravens, this is an interesting game. You're coming off last week, you know, a 41-0 win, which was huge.
I mean, Josh, 3rd and 7. They've shown they'll go for it on 4th down. So I would imagine they go back to the run game here, or do we see a more bootleg possible?
I think they're going to stick with the run game here.
So Moore gets the call from the sideline, breaks the huddle. The Ravens in the all-black uniforms, while Delmar Wildcats go blue, white, blue. The classic Delmar road uniforms. This time they go up the middle. There's a flag. That was an early flag, and we'll see. I would have to imagine this is against the Ravens.
Yeah, and that's 2 penalties back-to-back. That's going to end up hurting them. And yeah, and they're going to move it back even further now.
Now, if you're Delmar, would you accept that?
Oh, I think so. I think so. I mean, Delmar's doing a great job of shutting them down. And I see no reason for them to not have confidence in their defense to stop them again.
So they'll back them up 5 yards. As we see the Wildcats defensive line, you see number 71 there, Jacob Kirby, clapping them up. This Delmar Wildcats defensive line has played well tonight.
Yeah.
They are excited.
And he's in motion.
Moore goes left side. That could be an interception.
No.
It's picked off. That's Ray J. Allen. He's going to go all the way in for a pick 6.
Wow. Ray J. Allen, he was the one on the coverage of Handy in that first play, and he said, hey, I'm going to get it back. And that's exactly what he does.
Truly redemption season for Ray J. Allen there. That was an unforced throw out of the quarterback, Justin Moore there.
You know, that's the way the play was designed, and sometimes you just have to go, hey, he's too tight of a coverage, try to work something else out. He forces the throw instead.
As we see the Delmar Wildcat student section very excited.
And now
this is clearly the biggest lead of the game.
Yeah. And they're going to send out, they're going to kick the extra point, 2 for 2 on the day.
This could be a big miss. If Van Sant misses this, which he's proven that he's not in the realm of missing it, but it would keep it a 1-score game. Good snap, good hold, and Van Sant, I mean, this guy's got a leg.
That was a clean kick. Lots of ball rotation, you know, high, away from that line there, you know. I've been impressed with what I've seen from him today. And now you're the Ravens. You're in a tough spot. You know, you're down 9 points.
So it's 21-12 after that interception from Delmar. We're going to take it to a replay here shortly, and I mean, we're going to see Justin Moore just kind of throw an unforced error. Josh, what do you see here?
I mean, look at that. And that's great coverage. He threw it into 2 men, and that's a play you have to make if you're Delmar. And that is really just an unforced error. You know, made the wrong read, and you know, and you're kicking yourself if you're the Ravens right now.
Because you had it as a 3rd and 12, and I asked you right before that penalty. It was. Do you accept it? And Josh Klein goes, yes, you trust your defense, and that's exactly what Coach Hearn did.
Yeah, that's what he did, and they're sitting in a very good spot right now, and the defense is going back out on the field, you know, energized by that play.
Well, we saw the defensive tackle, Jacob Kirby, clapping it up as the Ravens broke the huddle, and you got to imagine, when the defense scores, that's a huge, huge opportunity for them. This time they will kick it deep. They go to Jeremiah Handy.
Tries to make a man miss. Taken down, and there's a flag on the field.
Yeah, a little extracurricular activity over there. It looked like on the other side of the field, away from the ball. Would have to think that's possibly what it is. You know, they had Tech player Joseph Gappa over there. We'll see what the call is. nonetheless, not too bad a starting field position if this spot holds.
No, not at all.
Now, if you're the senior Justin Moore, so this is going to go against the Ravens. Looks like it's going to back them up. It's still going to be a first down on the ball. But if you're Justin Moore, Josh, being a former guy that has worked on QB, development, what kind of attitude do you come with after that?
You have to go out there. One, you have to be able to rely on your guys who've been doing it all night. Hand it to Sample, trust in the people around you, and then when it comes time to make your play, hey, you got to flush that last play, and you just got to focus on making the right read and doing your job. And I think he's going to be able to do that here.
So they gave it to Sample. And I mean, I really do respect out of the Ravens coaching staff. They have stuck to their game plan.
Yeah.
And that hasn't even, really crossed their mind to go out of that.
No.
But you got to wonder, now being down 2 scores, at what point does Coach Brad Ellensworth maybe audible on this game plan?
You don't know. You don't know. I mean,
still too early, you say?
I think it's too early. The passing game, they've been able to mix some plays and obviously have the pick 6. But I think the run game has been doing well. You take away a couple errors, and they're in this game.
That was a keeper on Moore there. That's a play we haven't seen.
No, Moore's saying, hey, listen.
Call my number, coach.
I got wheels too. He's like, hey, that was my bad on that last play. I'm going to do what I can to make it up for my team here. He takes it for himself, gets a couple.
So now a much more manageable 3rd and 3. This is a huge first down. I would think you got to pick this up.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you hope for no penalties.
That's what killed him on the last drive.
And that's what killed him on the last drive. And so, yeah, keep it clean here. Hand the ball off to Sample and let him do what he does.
So Moore gives it to Sample. Sample cuts up back towards the middle. That's going to be enough for a first down. Clock will keep ticking, so we're close to 2 minutes left here in the third quarter action.
And if you're the Ravens right now, don't worry about that clock yet. You have plenty of time. If you can go down here and score and make a stop, you're sitting in a great position to be able to march down and win this game. The key is stay with your game plan. Go in there, do what you've been doing, execute it well, and then hope that your defense can come out there and put on that performance that they put on last week.
2 minutes remaining, third quarter. Moore gives it off to Reinecker. Reinecker with a little bit of extra room. And, just when, you could start questioning Coach Brad Ellensworth on whether or not he wants to stick to his game plan, you almost have to wonder, when does the Delmar Wildcats defense maybe get fatigued?
That's the thing. When you're defending such a run-heavy offense, you're going to get worn out. If you're getting pounded, especially when a guy like, Sample, he's either running at you or he's blocking. And either way, that's exhausting.
They go back to Reinecker, and let me tell you, those last 2 handoffs to Reinecker, there's been much more open room for him.
A lot of separation, and like I said earlier, that is partly, that the blocking has been well, and Sample has been a part of that. When he does not have the ball, he is creating room for his partner, and you love to see that. A couple breakout runs there. I'm wondering if maybe they can have one of those big plays that we haven't seen from them yet on the run game.
We'll see. Now they get the ball in the 50. They gave it to Sample, and Sample just backpedaled 5 yards.
He can fall down and pick up 6. That's the kind of guy he is. I'm feeling very comfortable from the Ravens the way this drive's looking. And if you're Delmar, you're feeling good too, because you understand that your offense did what they had to do. You've been playing well all game.
As Reinecker gets this, not nearly as much room, but Reinecker pounds his way for a first down.
Yeah, and it does look like a little bit of fatigue setting in, because you have to remember, a drive before this was the pick 6, so they've been out on the field now for nearly
half the quarter, really.
2 possessions. Everyone needs a rest at some point, and I think we're seeing the Ravens capitalizing on that.
So this will probably be the final play to Sample. The Sample will rumble for about 5. I mean, just like that. Sample, again, backpedaling for 5 yards.
Yeah. I mean, that's a scary sight if you're Delmar.
So that's going to be the end of the quarter here.
And now we're heading into a fourth quarter where I don't think you can say that one team has been dominating the other. Obviously, the scoreboard is a 2-possession game in favor, of Delmar. But if you break it down, that's a couple plays difference that have happened. Obviously, the pick 6 being the biggest of them.
And that's what you got to look at for the Ravens. What has been 2 crucial plays that might be the game changer? It's unfortunately 2 turnovers for them.
Yeah. And so, we're going into this fourth quarter here. Now we're thinking, listen, Ravens got to step on the gas a little bit. They've been moving this past drive. I think if they can capitalize here, get the touchdown, get the 2-point conversion, then they're going to set themselves up, in a really good position if they can stop this offense, which has been resting now for a little bit.
As you see there, we got a shot at the Sussex Tech student section, the Tech back there, as they're doing their best to get their squad fired up.
Yeah, and that's one thing to say. I mean, this crowd, they have been on their feet, down 2 possessions, and they're still cheering on.
So they'll flip the field here. 2nd and 5, ball on the 33, 12 minutes left in this game. Sample he ran into maybe 8 Delmar Wildcat defenders there.
Yeah, I mean, they were all over that. So now we're looking big 3rd down. 3rd and 5. What do you do here? 3rd and 7.
So we lost 2 yards on that play. 4 down territory, I would assume.
You have to assume. So best case scenario here, you can pick up about 4 yards and hopefully set yourself up in a manageable
Busted
situation.
play again. Moore just has to take it off the right edge. That has been kind of I can't call it a stat, but that's been the thing that's been holding Sussex Tech back all day is the unforced errors.
I know, and you hate to see it because, Moore's had a good game otherwise. Couple of amazing throws. Obviously, the one throw to Sample, forced fumble, and then the amazing touchdown pass we saw. It's sad that, you're looking at this game and, these couple unforced errors really have changed the game for the Ravens. And now you're in a 4th and long situation, you have to imagine they're going to go through the air, right?
You would have to think. It's 4th and 9. This honestly, I know there's 11 minutes left. This play could be the game.
This could be the game because, and listen, we know the Ravens are capable of, getting these chunk yard plays. But if you give the ball to the Wildcats here, if the Wildcats can just run the ball the way they've been running it, you're going to receive the ball if you're the Ravens with not much time left, and you really can't have the Wildcats score again, or else this game's really over.
So we saw a lot of looking there. Coach Brad Allensworth trying out the huddle. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of play call they go with on 4th and 9. They picked up 5 yards on 1st down, and they've gone backwards ever since.
If you're the Wildcats, you have to imagine you got a couple eyes on number 6 right now, and you're hoping the ball's not in his hands.
So then Moore under center again, puts a man in motion. That's Handy. Handy they give. This is going to be a trick play.
Oh my goodness.
And that play was lit up by the Delmar Wildcats. Wow, what a play.
Jalen Johnson, a big hit from him. They were all over that. They anticipated, they saw, they got to the ball.
Jalen Johnson just blew up Jeremiah Handy.
Wow. That was an interesting play call for that situation. Go for a little bit of trickery. The Wildcats are all over that. And now the Wildcats are in a position where they could really try to run this clock out.
What's interesting, and this has been a matchup that we have not seen in at least over a decade. So this is 2 fan bases, 2 teams that are unfamiliar with each other. It's a 21-12 game. And let me tell you, it's not Handy did not have anybody open downfield on that play.
No, not at all.
But they'll give it to Kemp.
And so you have to hope for either a turnover or a very quick stop if you're the Ravens right now. Or else you're going to be looking at, a 3-score game or a 2-score game with no time left.
This is a game that Sussex Tech led 12-7 at halftime. And since then, 14 unanswered points for this Wildcats.
And it really comes down to penalties, unforced errors, and some big plays from the defense.
So Powell back up the middle.
Oh, he's loose.
Oh, Delmar just running right through the Sussex Tech defenses. Taiki Hoogie got the carry on that one.
The Ravens might give this ball plenty of time left, but they might be down 3 scores.
The Sussex Tech Ravens fans just not believing what they're seeing.
No. You gave this offense a lot of time to rest, and they're coming out there. The defense worn down, it looks like, and we're seeing the Wildcats really take control of this game.
Hoogie in motion in the backfield as they gave it straight up the middle. Swarm of Ravens defenders and the big tackles there.
So, if you're the Ravens here, you need somebody on that defense to step up big and say, hey, this moment's not too big for me. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to make a play, and I'm going to try to switch this momentum back to our side and see if we can't come back here,
So over 9 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, the Ravens are down by 9. They need a stop at 2nd and 9. Ball's on the 30-yard line.
Question is, who's going to be that guy for the Ravens to show up and step up big here?
This last time I checked, Jeremiah Handy not on the field.
Yeah.
And the Ravens have to force another timeout. And a crucial quarter where you might need all your timeouts to stop the clock. They've already taken 2.
Yeah, and that's not good. Ravens need a guy to step up big here. You're talking about Cade Hall last week. Big pick 6. You're talking about, Toby Allender, interception last week. You need one of these guys to say, hey, this is the moment I was made for. I'm going to step up. I'm going to do something big here.
What do you think Coach Dave Hearn inside that Wildcats huddle right there is just saying to his players?
He's saying, hey, keep doing what you've been doing. You're running the ball well. We're in control of this game. Play discipline, and let's finish this game off and get this win.
So exactly 9 minutes remaining. It's still going to be a 2nd and 9 when we get underway. Only one critical timeout left now for Sussex Tech.
Yeah, they need to do something big here. And we're going to see what the Wildcats do. 2nd and 9.
Powell under center, sends a man in motion. Looked like that was a false start off the left side, too. So the Ravens will take it.
Yeah, that was big. Right now, time, I think, is the biggest factor. If you can get a stop here, you're going to need a quick score, right? Something that the Ravens really haven't shown us that they can do yet. And so we're going to see the Ravens really need a big play here.
21-12, and it's not that the Ravens are being outplayed. It's not that Delmar is overwhelming them.
No.
You just have to look, and if you're a Delmar Wildcat fan, the clock is your best friend right now.
Yeah, I think this has been a very evenly matched game. I think two teams that are very similar caliber.
Scrambles to his left. He's got a man open downfield. Was looking for.
Just overthrown.
That was Trevor Gibson he was looking for.
And Luke West with good coverage there. It would really have had to been a perfect throw. And so, and if you're the Ravens, you like that because it stops the clock. And now, save some of that precious time.
Third and 14. That's huge here for the Ravens to get a stop.
Yeah.
You wonder how deep is Van Sant's field goal range because he's shown a big leg on these extra points.
You know what? I would love to see him trot out there.
Is he the
just
Justin
go
Tucker
for
of
one.
Delaware high school football kickers?
I don't know, but I'd love to find out.
Big running room this time off the right side. Is that enough? It's close. That's a first down.
Dang, Jalen Warner showing the speed, getting on the outside, getting the first down, getting out of bounds, which I'm sure the Ravens are happy about.
And that's a punch in the heart there.
Yes, yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, 3rd and long. You know, you were in such a good position to maybe change the tides here.
3rd and 14, and you give up a 16-yard run play.
That's really all you couldn't do. And now you're feeling really good if you're the Wildcats.
Because you would think you're at least in advanced hand field goal position.
Yeah.
Powell under center, gives it up the middle. And I think another big key is we've seen a lot of guys rotate in and out as ball carriers for Delmar. So we're talking fresh guys into these fourth quarter situations.
Fresh guys, exactly. And you know who I've been really impressed with this game? Gavin Powell. I mean, he has done what he has needed to do. And, you know, I think that, I think if you're the Wildcats, you're leading this game, you're feeling pretty optimistic about what the future for the rest of the season could be.
I mean, Gavin Powell, you have to look right now. You can't say, hey, he's been the X factor, but what you can say is he's managed this Delmar Wildcats offense very well.
Yeah.
So a false start by the Wildcats offense here. As this is a couple of errors that we've not seen out of the Wildcats, getting a couple flags here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and that's what you just if you're on the sideline right now for the Wildcats, that's exactly what you can't do. Is, you know, hey, let's play disciplined football and let's go out there, let the clock run out, do what we've been doing, and let's go home, you know?
So it'll back them up. We'll mark it down as a 2nd and 11 here at the stadium. And if you're just joining us late, we're here inside Raven Stadium. 21-12, Delmar Wildcat lead. While they have the ball on the 22. Patrick Cassett joined alongside Joshua Klein here with the rest of the Raven Sports Network crew all over the stadium, giving you great shots.
And that's a great run there. Doing exactly what they need to do. And if the Ravens want any chance of trying to come back in this football game, they cannot, let this Delmar team score here.
Tick, tick, tick as the clock goes down here in Raven Stadium. Just over 7 minutes left. So 3rd and 3. Can the Ravens get a stop?
Thinking about a passing play there.
No, they give it back up the middle. Enough to get the first down from Warner.
And that was, and like I was saying earlier, I mean, that's exactly what Powell needed to do. He made the right read. He pulls it. He hands it off. I mean, he's done a great job managing this game. And I think the biggest factor is he hasn't thrown any pick sixes, which is really, I think that's what changed this game.
I have to say.
I think that's the moment that this game became just a little bit unmanageable for the Ravens.
Powell will give it off inside, and the Ravens defense there to stop him short of the goal line. But the clock is ticking as we are halfway through the fourth quarter here in Georgetown.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't the 41-0 game of last week. This is a new game, new opponents, and it's been a tough challenge for the Ravens.
So it's a 2nd and goal. They'll mark the ball on the 2-yard line here. Powell will go under center as he has Warner and Kemp in the backfield. He gives it to Kemp. Kemp is trying to fight his way to the goal line.
Trying to get a push.
not quite able to get it. Which is almost a great thing for the Wildcats because guess what? Clock keeps running.
Clock keeps running. Now it's 3rd and 1. And I think this is very manageable. So you keep the clock ticking, you get the score, and then you get the reservations for Pizza Palace starting.
3rd and goal here as we look to you live from our end zone shot down there. As this would be a huge play for the Delmar Wildcats. Essentially, if you punch it in here, you got to be starting the bus.
Yeah, you get that bus warmed
up. In a good way.
Oh, absolutely.
They give it up to Kemp. No, he keeps it himself. How about that? The read option from Gavin Powell, and he puts the Delmar Wildcats up big here late.
And that was a great read. He goes in there, he gets the touchdown, and now it's a 27-12 game. This seems like it's just a little bit out of reach for the Ravens.
Josh, Sussex Tech was winning at halftime.
And and ever since that moment, it has been all
20 unanswered.
Wildcats. I mean, the Wildcats performing big on both ends of the field. I mean, the defense showed up in the second half. The offense showed up in the second half. This is exactly what you didn't want if you're the Ravens. And now, looking in the future, I mean, the Ravens, they go away to Red Lion. Then the week after that, they got Milford at home. And then to close the season, they got Odessa High School at home. This game it seemed like a must-win.
Off the right side, that's an easy 2-point conversion as Warner got in there. And now make that 22 unanswered from the Delmar Wildcats. And also, it's their season high point total.
Wow. I mean, this has been, a really good night for the Wildcats.
And Josh, we look at the Ravens fan section as people are now making their way out of their seats and starting to head home. 4:46 remaining, 29-12 lead here for Delmar. Josh, let's go ahead. Let's get into their upcoming games.
Yeah, I mean, after tonight, you got Indian River, IR's homecoming. Indian River's going to be electric. We'll see how that goes. And then they go Caravel, Delmar,
and we'll stop you right there, Josh, because we're going to go back to this little read option. They go Kemp here with the man in motion. They fake it to Kemp and then right back up the middle.
I mean, that was a well-executed play. Nobody had on them.
And then here was the 2-point conversion where they had Warner go off the edge with the pitch option.
A little bit of flip.
I mean, this Delmar Wildcats playbook is looking pretty expansive tonight.
Yeah, and it seems like the further they get into this lead, the more comfortable they are with running these plays. And, we'll see what they can do. If the Ravens can make anything come to life, squib kick.
Oh, and that's just off the hands of Handy. Handy gets tackled at the shoelace.
He tried to make some maneuvers, goes to the left, goes to the right, gets wrapped up, and you really, if you're the Ravens, you need a big return there. And, smartly, the Wildcats, they squib that.
So it looks like Delmar is going to go to 3-2 after the season, assuming they hold on here. Like you said, Josh, they go in at Indian River, at Caravel.
Lake Forest.
Their last 2 games are at home.
And Laurel at home. It's going to be interesting to see, especially as the playoff picture starts to form. I mean, this is a good win for the Wildcats. You feel pretty good about this.
What's unfortunate for Delmar is they do have that one game that was ruled a no contest against Milford, assuming that became a no contest because of health and safety protocols. That being said, I mean, this is a team that could go on a run, Josh.
Yeah. I mean, they've shown that they can do it on both sides of the ball. Special teams even has looked very well for them. I'm going to be curious to see what happens with them in the future. But the Ravens seem like they have a lot of holes they got to patch up.
Yeah, but here's the good thing for the Ravens. Because they started in week 0, they actually do have a bye week, a rare bye week in the high school football season. Of course, it's only a bye week in between week 9 and week 10, or game 9 and game 10. And we'll have that after, so they go on the road next week at Red Lion, like you said, Josh. But the final 2 home games are here against Milford and Odessa.
Yeah.
And we'll have that live here on YouTube on the Raven Sports Network.
And they're seeing if they can just get anything going. And listen, there is upside for the Ravens. Obviously, this is a tough loss. You see the things you got to work on. But I think you're happy and you're excited about the future of some of the possibilities. Obviously, I mean, Sample is a guy that you feel very good about.
Right, and Josh, you look at it. They won 1 game last year. I know it was a COVID year. They had a couple of games canceled. But when you look at that, they won 1 football game last year. So for a second-year head coach and a second year at the helm of the program, I mean, you got to look at this in some sort of a positive.
Yeah, it's exactly. I mean, they have a couple players that they could build upon, and I think that you're optimistic if you're the Ravens. You hope that they can fix up some of these unforced errors, and going to the next week. I think that's the biggest difference the Ravens have from the first and second half is those errors.
So a little over 3.5 left as we see Moore roll to his left.
He is getting chased down. He's going to keep it.
Oh, that looked like it could have been a horse collar tackle, and it was.
I mean,
that could have just saved the Ravens' drive.
Absolutely, but they're going to need a little bit of magic here. 3 minutes, 32 seconds left. And the fans are still alive right now.
I mean, you can't fault them. They're happy to be here. Of course, they missed the whole year last year. No Tech Pack, no student fans last year. Football is officially back.
And we're going to look at that last play there. I mean, he rolls out to the right. 48 is chasing him down. He decides to keep it, and then big hit. I mean, and you're lucky
Gibson
that
came in there, and when you saw it happening, you said Trevor Gibson's got a potential to lay a big hit. Unfortunately, it was a horse collar, and that's a big no-no.
Yeah, you can't do that. Player safety first.
Reinecker stiff arms a man.
He gets out of bounds. And now, the Ravens are pushing midfield here. 3:25 left, clock is stopped. I mean, I'm not crazy. I mean, I'm right to say that the Ravens, there's no chance that they can make this comeback, right?
That's what you would be saying right now, yes.
Yeah. I mean, they would need something, a miraculous comeback.
Do you believe in miracles, Josh?
I don't know if I believe in miracles tonight.
Not in Georgetown.
Not here tonight.
I mean, the biggest play of the game has been the touchdown at the end of the first half for the Ravens.
Yeah.
Other than that, we've seen a lot of plays just similar to this.
A lot of silence. I mean, I think that if you're the Ravens right now, you have nothing to lose. Hey, let's mix some things up. Let's try some different looks.
Than the football game.
I mean, but you could argue that's already lost. You could argue that's already lost.
You're saying there.
And so,
more off the right side there.
And there's still a lot of fight in this Tech team. Still a lot of fight, though, which is what you love to see.
As Moore is getting beaten up here in the second half. He's taking a lot of hits, but he's trying to carry this team on his back.
Yeah. And you love that maturity. You love that leadership.
Hey, if you're the Ravens, if you get a touchdown, onside kick, you're right back in it.
You're right back in it, and I'm still waiting for that big play. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see something here. Roll to the right.
Moore's got a man deep. That's intercepted again. Again, Ray J. Allen, and he's down the sideline on the left side. What did you say earlier, Josh? Ray J. Allen got beat last play.
He's redeeming himself. I mean, and it's almost, it's hard to even blame Moore there.
Well, you can't blame Moore there.
You can't. He's doing what he has to do. And that was great coverage. And so, yeah.
This is what tends to happen. This has been a close football game for throughout.
Yeah.
But what tends to happen is when you get down in, you have to make things happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we've seen out of the Ravens tonight.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they just haven't gotten the goals.
Yeah, and exactly. Especially when you're, a run-heavy team, when you get down, you got to start mixing some things up, and you got to go off the game plan a little bit. And so, even if,
Which I think Coach Brad Ellingsworth has tried to do.
yeah, and I think if the Wildcats score here, you could see maybe a 4-score game on paper.
But it's not that.
It's not that. It's
As they gave it off to Moore on the left side there. A 29-12 game. You look at the score. I mean, even in a 3-score game like this, I think you look at the box score at the end of the game and you go, whoa, Delmar really put up a showing. But I agree with you, Josh. Not quite the case there.
No. I mean, it really came down to, Tech. They had to do what they had to do. And like I said, there was a lot of problems, a lot of upside in Tech. It's a tough loss, if they end up, not finding a way to pull through here. But like I said, I think that you take the good, you see that, your run game, for the most part, really solid. You see, you have the capability to have a couple big passing plays.
And the only thing is they really lack that big play. And it's not something that they lacked last week.
Yeah.
And this is truly one of those, up until the fourth quarter, a couple plays go either way.
Yeah.
Could have been a ball game.
Exactly. I think if they clean up a couple things, I really do think this Ravens team has a lot of upside. Second year for the coach. I mean, we're going to see what they can do in these next coming weeks.
Well, what about Delmar? Is Delmar positioned to put themselves here able and capable of going on?
I mean, I think Delmar has a lot to build off of. All 3 phases of the game, they seem to be put together.
They look well.
They seem like a disciplined team. And yeah, I think that with high school football, it is hard to judge, based on who's playing who, and it's really any given Friday type situation. So it's hard to tell by one game. But yeah, I mean, what a great game. First half, electric. I mean, in the high-scoring second half compared to what we thought.
There we see as the scoreboard strikes 0. Delmar 29, Sussex Tech 12. As the Delmar Wildcats dominated the second half, 22-8. It was electric ending to the second half for the Ravens. I mean, electric ending for the first half for the Ravens. An electric ending for the second half for the Delmar Wildcats.
Yeah, and they shake hands. Tough loss for the Ravens. But, a lot to build off of. Let's look at some highlights of the game here.
So this was a big end around here by Jeremiah Handy. This was one of the big plays that weren't touchdowns that Sussex Tech was able to get tonight.
And that's the story of the game. Handy really performed well.
That was a huge turning point.
And that really is where I think a lot of the momentum shifted. Here we go here. Moore under center. Rolls
this
out.
This was the big touchdown play before the end of the half.
And beautiful throw. You see number 11 get beat there. And Ray J. Allen would have a big game on from that.
Now this play here to Kemp was a big momentum setter. First drive of the half.
And that's where a lot of things changed.
The Kemp give off.
And then he finished the drive. Gets a score, and then here's where things start to go back. Ray J. Allen gets the interception, redeems himself, runs it back for the touchdown.
Huge turning point in the game.
And yeah, I mean that was a great play by him.
And this was the trick play that Handy tried to do, but the Delmar Wildcats
were all over it. And then from there, it seemed to be all Delmar.
That was the handoff to Huji. Big momentum builder on the drive.
And they just continue to run the ball. And
that was the tough 34 team there
that
the Wildcats picked up.
It really was. And then, of course, how can you forget makes a great read.
The read option there by Gavin Powell.
Powell, I mean, yeah, high IQ play from him.
And then here
go
was
for the 2-point conversion, and
this capped off the scoring for the night. A beautiful play there.
a
Go
great
outside
design.
the corner.
He holds on to it. He makes you think you're going to take it in, and then he flips to the outside.
And this was a big horse collar tackle that gave Sussex Tech still some life there, which was a 3rd down.
Yeah, and I mean, and then in the last play here, we got another interception from, Ray J. Allen. Had himself a game.
So Ray J. Allen in coverage got beat one time, went into halftime, came out, and then picked up 2 interceptions.
And the final score, Delmar 29, Sussex Tech 12 in the final here at Raven Stadium.
So we thank you for joining the Raven Sports Network. On behalf of executive producer Gary Conway, I'm Patrick Cassett.
I'm Joshua Klein. Thank you guys for tuning in. Tune in next week.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks, right
2
back
weeks, hey.
on the Raven Sports Network. Have a great weekend, guys.
See you guys.